Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever seen a car so small, so peculiar, and so magnificently awkward that it looks like someone asked Picasso to design a motorized egg? Welcome to the fabulous world of the Thiessen Egyptian Pietz David Microcar, a three-wheeled Spanish contraption so charmingly strange it makes a Fiat Multipla look like a supermodel. This thing wasn't just a car. It was a political statement, a rolling shrug, and probably the only vehicle you could park in your living room without upsetting your spouse. Now, before we dive into this tale of post-war perseverance, engineering improvisation, and biblical branding, take a second to smash that subscribe button like it owes you pesetas. Thanks to our brilliant channel sponsors. Yes, I'm looking at you. The folks who keep Timmy in beer and Bob in aluminum foil were able to keep unearthing these oddballs from the bottom of history's glove box. Picture Spain in the early 1950s. The country was still limping out of post-Civil War isolation. Roads looked like they'd been bombed by goats, and fuel was scarcer than a politician's apology. Enter David S.A., a Barcelona-based company with roots dating back to the 1910s, when founder José Manuel Armangué was building cycle cars and bobsleds on wheels, because nothing says safety like luge plus combustion. After Armangué's death in 1917, the company faded into the background until the Moré brothers, led by engineer José María Moré Comas, revived it in the 1950s with one purpose: build a vehicle that was cheap, light, and just crazy enough to work. The result? A microcar that proudly declared it wasn't a car missing a wheel, it was a motorcycle with one extra. Think about that for a second. That's like marketing your missing front tooth as extra lip space. But hey, it worked. The David was born around 1954 and remained in production until about 1958. And when I say production, I mean somewhere between 60 and 75 units, depending on how many Timmy's counting after his third glass of Anse. Today, only a handful survive. David S.A. didn't just make one flavor either. There was the Torpedo, a sporty little convertible, the Rubia, a woody-style station wagon, and even the Trecamioneta, a mini pickup truck that could probably haul 2 oranges and a pessimistic chicken. But the Torpedo was the star. Picture a teardrop bobsled, beige canvas top, chrome trim that tried its best, and a pointy front that looked like it might poke your conscience. The name David wasn't just a biblical reference. It was a metaphor for surviving giants, poverty, isolation, and the looming specter of foreign cars with actual horsepower. But don't be fooled by its size. This microgiant came with a purpose-built tubular chassis and lightweight bodywork, part metal, part plywood. Hope it doesn't rain. The car was only about 9 feet 3 inches. Long, that's roughly 2.82 meters, but it had a fully enclosed cabin, something many microcars skipped altogether in favor of just enough roof to keep the pigeons out. The windshield was modest, the doors were optional in spirit, and the whole vehicle looked like it had just tumbled out of a cartoon blueprint. Now let's pop the hood, if you can find it, and look at the specs. Powering the David was a 345 cubic centimeter single-cylinder 2-stroke engine. 10 horsepower. That's right, 10. But it did the job. Mounted at the very front, the engine powered the single front wheel via a chain drive. Yes, the car was front engine, front wheel drive, and front weird. It's like someone gave a motorcycle a nose job and called it a car. Top speed? Somewhere between 42 and 47 miles per hour, 68 to 75 kilometers per hour, depending on wind direction and the driver's weight. Fuel consumption? A delightful 5 liters per 100 kilometers, or about 47 miles per gallon. The transmission? Oh boy. It had a 3-speed manual gearbox accessed via an H-shaped slot in the dashboard. And I do mean in the dashboard, right in front of your eyes, with rods and linkages poking around like Timmy's trying to fix a DVD player. Some brave souls claim there were 6 speeds, but I suspect those people also see Elvis at gas stations. The rear wheels? Just passive participants in this theater. No power, no drama, just rolling along like Bob during a neighborhood watch meeting. As for the steering, it was famously overbuilt. A massive white steering wheel supplied by Auto Union, yes, future Audi, turned a voice-in patented constant velocity joint, a fancy way of saying this steering is more complicated than it needs to be. The front wheel sat on a 3/4 elliptic leaf spring, while the rear wheels used trailing arms with coil springs. Brakes, all mechanical, cable-operated drum brakes on all 3 wheels. Wheels were staggered, one lonely front wheel doing the work, 2 followers in the back keeping the car honest. The rear track measured just about 3 feet, roughly 91 centimeters. As for weight, there's no official figure, but experts estimate around 250 kilograms. That's 550 pounds. But don't be fooled by the numbers. This thing drove like a quirky little buzz bomb. Contemporary accounts and present-day collectors alike agree it was fun. The steering was direct, the ride surprisingly smooth, and the feeling of zipping through narrow streets in a rolling bobsled? Unbeatable. Interior? Spartan would be a generous term. The dashboard was bare metal, featuring little more than the iconic H-slot gear selector and a large central speedometer. If you wanted luxury, you were probably looking for a different century. But for post-war Spain, this was more than enough. It gave people affordable, enclosed transportation in a time when many were still riding donkeys or hoping for hand-me-down Vespas. The David was a step forward, a wobbly, buzzing, smoke-belching step, but a step nonetheless. In terms of market rivals, the David's biggest competition came from the Biscúter, which, unlike the David, was mass-produced to the tune of over 10,000 units and had a slightly more established dealer network. Other Spanish micro-marvels like the Capi, Verdel, and PTV also made appearances, but none offered the same strange combination of front-engine layout, 3-wheel design, and handmade flair. Compared to the Biscúter, the David had a bit more speed, a bit more weirdness, and a lot more, "Wait, what am I looking at?" That said, it wasn't exactly the people's champion. Its higher price, more complex mechanics, and limited production made it more of a boutique curiosity than a mass-market solution. Still, it was one of the only cars in Spain where you could go from 0 to hero in under 48 miles per hour, provided you didn't hit a hill. Now, let's talk money. In the collector market, Davids remain rare and relatively affordable. At R.M. Sotheby's legendary 2013 auction of the Bruce Weiner Microcar Museum, a green 1958 David Torpedo sold for $51,750. Another example, equally eccentric but a little less polished, fetched $25,300 at Auctions America in 2012. No Davids have shown up at European giants like Bonhams or Art Curial in recent years, suggesting these little gems are mostly held tight by private collectors who know exactly what they've got, or are afraid no one else will figure out how to drive them. And now, dear viewers, a heartfelt thank you to our cherished channel sponsors. You mad geniuses who clicked that little join button and now fund my continued descent into the depths of microcar history. Thanks to you, I don't have to sell Bob's conspiracy zines at the farmer's market just to pay for research. Though if he keeps printing them, we might start selling them as novelty wallpaper. Until next time, stay curious, stay quirky, and remember, if your car has fewer than 4 wheels, it better have more than enough personality to make up for it. And the David? It had personality leaking from its tailpipe. Don't forget to subscribe, or Timmy might try to fix your brakes.